So today we're just gonna do a little post-tournament video from the ASABFA tournament on Logan Martin. And I'm just gonna go over some of the baits that we caught our fish on. We didn't do too good during the tournament, but we caught some big ones during practice. But we just couldn't get the big ones to bite during tournament day. But we ended up with 6.5 pounds with 4 fish. We had our one good one, which was a 3-pounder on Logan. But let's get to it. So right here we have a hedgehog, and I caught these during practice day, but I couldn't get any of them to bite during tournament day. But it's just a Texas rig hedgehog right here. I caught 4-pounder on practice, but we just couldn't get them to bite this during tournament day. And I was just kind of messing around because my dad had to wait around for the boat numbers for our school team. And me and my partner went out onto the pier on the Lincoln Landing. And in between the island and the pier, I threw out this swim jig right here, this white one, with the Zoom Z Crawl, white pearl, and threw it out there in the grass. And I wouldn't swim in it like a swim jig. I was just jigging it, and I ended up catching a 5-6 pounder. And I'll link the picture down in the video. I caught a bunch on the swim jig during practice day, but I didn't catch anything on it during tournament day, sadly. But this is what caught 2 of our fish on tournament day. If I can get it untangled here. There we go. This is a little spinnerbait right here. This is a Davis bait spinnerbait. You also go check them out here in Alabama. Will Davis Jr., professional Bassmaster Classic winner. And this is his spinnerbait. And so was that white swim jig that I caught him on. I don't have it tied on right now, but what helped my partner a lot, what he fished with, was a shaky head. It was also a Davis bait shaky head with these Davis bait shaky worms with a little neon tip right there. And put a little bit of this thump gel on it. And so now I'm just going to talk about what was going on during tournament and how the water and weather was. But so finally we've had good weather during the tournament. It was perfect conditions. Other than, I wish it was a little cloudy. It was sunny all day. The sun was just beaming down on us, and it made that midday bite very hard. But early in the morning, they were having a shad spawn in the grass, and that's how I was able to catch one on a swim jig and one on a spinnerbait. But what really messed us up, or didn't mess us up, but didn't help us, was you had to stay 100 yards away from the dock, and there's an island and then an itty-bitty island, but they were having a shad spawn. They were just busting the water everywhere on that island in the grass, but we couldn't fish it because it wasn't 100 yards away from the dock. But we ended up fishing next. It was close to the island where we got our first fish. It was next to a log. I threw that spinnerbait next to it and had our first fish. It was probably about a pound. But our big one that we caught, it was 3 even. That was our biggest fish for that day. My partner actually caught it. He caught it on a shaky head. It was that same Davis bait shaky head. And we only had 4 fish though. We couldn't get that 5th one. But we went to one of our spots to where my partner, he didn't catch it, but he lost it at the boat. It was probably a 2.5, 3 pound spot on a rocky bank. But we went there, we couldn't catch anything. But we went back up in the pocket next to the rocks bank. And there's a bunch of docks back there. We didn't catch anything under the docks. But if you go all the way in the back, there's a small little, like, not creek, because it just ends. But it's probably the width of 2 boats, but you could only fit 1 boat in there. But I hooked into one, and it was a dang good one. It was probably 4.5, 5 pounds. But as soon as I set the hook, he tugged for about a second, and my line snapped. I don't know if that was on me or if it was on the line. It was a bad knot or whatever, I'm not sure. But I lost that one, and then we went to the very back of it. It wasn't very long, but there was a tree hanging over. We were tossing up over the tree, and I was fishing that white Davis bait swim jig, and I actually caught a bluegill about that long on it. And then my partner caught a bass back there, but it was too short to measure. It wasn't 12 inches. But so we fished there a little bit. We couldn't get anything. And then we went to our next spot, and we caught a good bit in that spot the practice day before, but we just couldn't get anything to bite. It was actually where we caught the 3-pounder, but we actually, in that same whole pocket, we were fishing somewhere where we hadn't fished during practice day, and that's where he caught the 3-pounder. But we went back to where I caught, it's probably a 2-pound spot. We went back up in there. I caught that 2-pound on the white swim jig, but we couldn't get him to bite during tournament day. But I think the winner for the ASABFA tournament on Logan in April was, I think it was around 11.5 pounds to win. But it was a tough tournament. It was on fire early in the morning, but we just couldn't get the big ones to bite. But that midday bite got hard very quick. And one of our boats from our school, he usually wins every tournament, but he didn't do too good either. He had 8.5 pounds. And I think to be in top 5, to be in the money, I think it had to be over 9 pounds. But it was a tough tournament. It was close. The top 5, it was like 9.25, then 9.5, then 9 3/4, and then it was like 10, a little bit over 10, and then 11.5. But I was fishing in the junior division, but in our senior division, we had one boat in 5th place. They had 5th place out of 175 maybe, but they had 12.5 pounds. And then another boat on the senior division from our school got 4th place and was, I think, had 13 pounds or something. But our team did pretty good, but in the senior division, they got 1st overall for the whole team. But junior division, we didn't do too good. But it's pretty much it from the tournament. I'm trying to think. So yeah, that was it. And Fayetteville High School, you need to check us out here. And we're close to Sylacauga, Alabama, but we're a small 1A school, and I think we're 2nd place in the state for 1A for fishing. But yeah, you should go check out Davis Baits. They make some pretty good baits. Will Davis Jr., he fishes in the Bassmaster League. And his dad, Will Davis Sr., he's the one that actually is the owner of it. But y'all should go check him out down below. And I'll see y'all next time.